Phase lock 99%, link is stable.
Hey there, quirky folks! I am your host, Anna, and with yet another re-release of Avatar, let's look at a bunch of details that you should look out for when you rewatch this film. Since Avatar: The Way of Water is also headed our way, it would be nice for you to form a Sahailu with your Avatar bodies and enter Pandora. And you could do that with a thorough rewatch that would prepare you for the next 4 Avatar movies. Okay now, before I get into the deets, it would be amazing if you guys would hit the subscribe button and support our channel. Okay now, let's begin with the details. Number 1, COVID already hit Earth. Avatar takes place in the year 2154, and apparently, COVID came to this fictional Earth and never went away. Is that what's going to happen to us? Let's not talk about that now. My point is that almost everyone is seen wearing masks. James Cameron made it a thing before it became a trend in the real world. So, we could just pretend that JC predicted the arrival of COVID 11 years before it happened. That would be crazy, don't you think? Anyway, whatever happened on Earth made the atmosphere so hostile that people needed to wear masks on a regular basis. Detail number 2, Jake's apartment. Jake tells us how things have become extremely expensive on Earth.
They can fix a spinal if you got the money, but not on vet benefits, not in this economy. A VA check and $12 will get you a cup of coffee. And what they call waitlisted.
He can barely afford a place to stay. I mean, just look at his one-room apartment. You can't even call it a room. The poor disabled guy has to take a shit in the same place where he cooks and eats. Hopefully, he had proper ventilation, or else the smell itself would kill him. Even though everything in this apartment is compact, you gotta give it up for Jake for having a massive TV. Detail number 3, a 5-finger hand on Neytiri. If you focus on Neytiri's war paint here, she actually has a 5-finger handprint on her chest. Now this is interesting because the Navi only have 4 fingers. So it shows her connection to Jake, who had totally bonded with her by this time. Detail number 4, the eyebrows. I think you might have picked on this point earlier, but still, I am going to remind you. If you look at the Navi people, they don't actually have eyebrows. So, besides the 4 fingers, they are also separated from the human avatars by their lack of eyebrows. That's because Jake and the other human avatars have physical eyebrows. Number 5, Banshees have 2 types of eyes. You may have noticed that the Banshees have 4 eyes. But did you stop to think how the 2 eyes on each side are of 2 different types? One is an eagle eye, the other a goat's eye. The eagle eye allows for extremely detailed vision used by predators, while the goat eye allows for around 300 degrees of view and is often used by all prey.
Easy boy. So why would he ever look up?
So, they've got both hunting and survival types. Number 6, the text on Norm's hat. Now this could be an interesting one for some of you guys, but worthless for others. When Norm Spellman goes out with Jake and Grace in his avatar body, he sports a very peculiar hat. You may have thought that his hat has some random dots on it, but this design isn't random. It's actually text that's written in Braille. It states the number 1969, which was the year of the first moon landing.
At the foot of the ladder, the lamb footpads are only,
Apparently, Braille is a brand in this era. Detail number 7, the Navi and the tails. While rewatching the film, we picked how the Navi don't bind their prisoners' arms. Instead, they hold on to their neural ponytails to restrain them. These ponytails are important parts of their bodies. And considering that they also use their ponies to pork, it's almost like the Navi restrain people by holding their reproductive organs. Now just imagine this becoming a practice on Earth. Crazy, right? Now moving on to number 8, Unobtainium Origin.
Unobtainium, because this little gray rock sells for 20 million a kilo. That's the only reason. It's what pays for the whole party.
Considering that unobtainium plays a huge role in this film, let me drop a fact for you. You might think that unobtainium is a made-up name for the mineral that can't be obtained easily. But James Cameron didn't actually come up with the name unobtainium himself. Apparently, this term has existed in the real world since the 50s. It refers to incredibly rare, valuable, or even hypothetical substances. So, Cameron inspired the name from a pre-existing term. Number 9, the Prolomeris. As you may have noticed, most of the medium to large-bodied Pandoran animals have a total of 6 limbs. Meanwhile, the Navi people have 4 limbs. Most 4-eyed animals also have 2 pairs of eyes, but the Navi people only have 1 pair. But there's one scene where James Cameron showed us a creature called Prolomeris. It is basically a Pandoran monkey that has 2 eyes like the Navi, but 6 limbs like the other animals. Cameron added this scene to imply how the Navi people actually evolved from these Prolomeris, just like the humans evolved from apes on Earth. Number 10, how Jake became Turok Maktu. Jake Sully was obviously able to bond with Turok to become Turok Maktu. But did you notice that he was only able to do it because of what happened with him earlier in the film? When he was joyriding his Banshee with Neytiri, he was attacked by Toruk.
Follow me!
And because Toruk tried to kill from above,
Turok is the baddest cat in the sky. Nothing attacks him. So why would he ever look up? But that was just a theory.
Jake used the same theory and attacked Toruk from up above to bond with him. On top of that, Jake had asked Neytiri,
How will I know if he chooses me?
He will try to kill you.
Jake was able to bond with Toruk only because it had tried to kill him earlier in the film. Detail number 11, the touching yourself joke. You guys must have heard the myth that excessive jerking off could make you go blind. While it obviously isn't true, there's still a pretty subtle joke about it in the film. Earlier in the film, when Jake holds his braid, Grace says,
Don't play with that, you'll go blind.
That's kind of freaky.
Now obviously, this braid turns out to be the part that Jake used to mate with Neytiri. So, Grace basically made an Earth-based jerking off joke over here. Now finally, detail number 12, Jake's hair growth. As Jake goes on to live with the Navi and learn their ways, the passage of time is told through Jake Sully's hair growth. We see his log entry 12 made on May 30th, 2154. Then as he lives more with the Blues, we see how the hair on his human body has grown. This showcases the passage of time. He makes his log entry 42 on June 29. Then as he keeps learning to hunt from the Navi, his hair grows even more and he gets a beard and everything. So it was a nice way to imply the passage of time and the duration that Jake actually lived with them. Okay, those were the interesting details that we spotted on our Avatar rewatch. How many of these did you spot on your own? Let us know in the comments. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.